Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Hear Rich's forecast hourly on these Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations.
Hey, good morning, everybody. On this Tuesday morning, it is the 22nd day of May, just after 4 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of you got some good rains in the last 24 hours. This lawn behind me has had 7/10 of an inch of rain in just over 24 hours, including some rain overnight, and the prospects still looking good today and for the next few days. On this video, boy oh boy, I have some good information for you, and if you are a fan of meteorology, a fan of weather, you're really going to enjoy a lot of this, because we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of that tropical system coming out of the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. What will it do? We'll look at some model information, plus it may affect in an adverse way a lot of Memorial Day weekend plans, I'm sorry to say. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Glad you're here this morning.
Once again today, the atmosphere is primed for action for showers and thunderstorms. A little weakness in the upper air between two high-pressure areas is the culprit. So showers and thunderstorms will become rather numerous again today. Look at the radar. Future radar becomes very active during the daytime hours today and through the afternoon and early evening, and even continues in the nighttime hours tonight. So showers and thunderstorms will be numerous again. They'll be random, but a lot of towns will get wet, more than yesterday probably. 84 the high today. Tonight slowed down to about 60. South winds 48 miles per hour. And again tomorrow, widespread showers and storms as that weakness in the upper air continues. Now, as we get into Thursday, this is the European, we start to notice low pressure down there in the Gulf of Mexico that we'll talk about in just a second. Widespread showers and storms again on Thursday. Now, the National Hurricane Center has put an X on the map out there in the Western Caribbean, a 40% chance of development of this system as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico over the next 5 days. The GFS still likes the idea of Florida for this system. It's been very consistent. It has weak low pressure near Tampa Bay, then moving into Georgia and then into the Carolinas. The European Saturday morning at 7 a.m. has the system just near the mouth of the Mississippi River. Then it takes it into western Mississippi. We would be on the wet side of that system. The European gives a 50 to 60% respectable odds of a depression developing with this system. That's interesting. We'll watch that. And the European says that the chances of a named storm are more like 10 to 20% out there in the north central Gulf of Mexico. So the Canadian is the other global model. It's a little stronger. It has what looks like a depression, maybe a tropical storm south of Destin Sunday evening at 7 p.m., so the timing is different. Here's the rainfall potential. If you believe the European, and it says 6 to 8 inches of rain near the coast. Oh, my gosh, that would wipe out a lot of beach weekends. Here's the kind of the blended totals. 7 inches south central Alabama, 5 inches for many of us, 4 inches up near even Lake Martin, and that's a lot of rainfall. Now, when you go from an X from the National Hurricane Center, the next stage would be to get an invest with a number, and that opens up a couple of interesting possibilities. You start getting special tropical model runs, special satellite floater images become available. Those spaghetti plot maps you'll start to see. Air Force recon missions become possible. So that's the next stage after an X. Now back to the forecast. Good rain chances again tomorrow, and honestly, Thursday and Friday I have 40% chance. That could easily be 50 to 60% just about any day for the next few days. And then, of course, higher over the weekend with the tropical possibilities as we start to look at that system in the Gulf of Mexico that could affect the weekend forecast. Meanwhile, we'll look at the GFS. Notice how it lowers the temperatures as we get into Sunday and Monday. That would be because of the tropical weather. Meanwhile, highs are most days in the upper 80s to around 90, and lows at night in the 60s over the next 16 days. Finally, here's Memorial Day Monday. Depending on which scenario you believe, it could be a very wet situation if you're down on the Gulf Coast or if you're at the lake or in your own backyard on Memorial Day. We'll continue to watch it. Right now, the prospects are looking very wet.
So obviously my work is cut out for me this week. I'm setting the alarm extra early every day, and we'll have another complete video for you tomorrow morning at 4:45 a.m. And of course, other updates as needed. For instance, if this system becomes an invest with a number, we'll have a special update as well. So have a great day today, live on the radio this morning from 6 to 9 on News Talk 93.1 with Greg, Jay, Emily, and of course your forecast whenever you want it across the dial. 256 times a day on 8 radio stations, the Blue Water family of stations. Have a good one.
Rich Thomas Weather.